Okay, so I'm going to dive right in there. And this is a question that I get asked all of the time. How do I come up with good content? And, we've talked about it, well, I've talked about it before. We need to commit to having a regular content schedule. We need to, really think about posting regular, good quality, but regular posts on all of our social media platforms. Also, when we're blogging or if we're writing articles for another platform. So, what do you do when you're stuck? What do you do when you're sitting there thinking, oh gosh, it's Monday and I post on Mondays and I've got nothing to say? So whoops, let's have a look-see. So one of the things, or one of the easiest things that you can do to make sure that you're not completely lost, that you're not, every week racking your brains and feeling all stressed about things, is set up what I call, or what are known as, content pillars. Now, content pillars are, they're around about 6 topics. So other industries have slightly fewer, but in international ed, also tutoring, anything to do with education, 6 is kind of about the minimum that you want to be hitting. So those are 6 topics or themes, and they're going to form the foundation of our social media content. And I'm also including blogs and anything else that you're pushing out there on the internet. Now, these 6 topics or themes should be based on what is important to our audience. And I have an example here. So if you were a language school, what might your content pillars look like? Could be your school story, so like your history or the special things that have made your school or business the way it is. Could be your school values, could be alumni or community news, curriculum highlights, student experience, news. The options are endless. It's totally up to you, and it's up to your understanding of what your audience is looking for. These topics that we've come up with, these content pillars, they're the topics that we're going to use over and over and over again. So you're not coming up with new ones each week. Some people like to sort of have a specific order. So they might say, okay, I'm going to post a school story on Monday. Tuesdays is going to be news, Wednesdays student experience. It doesn't have to be like that, but it is also another way of making sure that you know what you're doing before the panic sets in. So once you've decided on your core topics or your content pillars, coming up with post ideas becomes a lot easier. Okay, so another thing that a lot of people worry about, and I worry about it too sometimes, is whether or not your content is actually good enough. Now, especially in a professional setting, we want to do things properly. We want to represent ourselves and our school in the best possible way. But what you just need to practice. That's the best way to get better at coming up with content, is just give it a go. And one of the things that I do, and I still do it even now after all these years of experience, is just sit down and have a brainstorm. Not every one of your ideas is going to be a great idea, but it'll give you sort of a good feeling of what will work, what you're sort of tending towards, the character or personality of your school or business that you want to portray. And it'll also give you a feel for what you can do or what you could do. So let's take a look at this slide here. This is basically just me having a very quick brainstorm. So if we were going to take the pillar of curriculum highlights, what kind of posts could we make about curriculum highlights? So these were just some very quick ideas that I came up with. So it could be new courses. It could be interesting course content. So is there an aspect of one of your courses that is particularly interesting that could be, made into a interesting post? Tell your students what they can do with what they learn with you. So is it, a job that they could then get? Is it, that they feel confident using the phone in that language, calling somebody up and using that language in a real everyday situation? Tell them what they can do. Another one could be meet the teachers. Now this should be sort of more curriculum or skills focused. And this is sort of, why are you as a tutor, or why are your teachers the right people to be teaching this particular topic? So there's tons and tons and tons of different things or different types of posts that you could create to show, the pillar of curriculum highlights. Similarly, I've got another sort of example for you here. So if we were to look at student experience, so a different content pillar, student experience, if we were going to post about it, we could do things like feedback, student success stories, aspects of lessons or classes, meet the teachers. But again, in this time, we're going to focus on their personality or their passion for what they're teaching. So, this is about the students, this is about their experience. Activity profiles, maybe your school has a great activity program, whether it's online or offline, doesn't matter. Profile these activities. I mean, that is a really easy one. If you have, 5 activities in a month, that's 5 posts done. Super easy. Day in the life. A day in the life is really great. It could be a typical day of a student, could be a teacher's day. There's so many things you can do, in day of the life. And then my favorite, fallback safety net content option is always the Throwback Thursday, the TBT, or just the TB. Sometimes you run out of content and it's Wednesday. You can drop the T, do a throwback anyway. I wouldn't do these all the time. Like literally, these are my sort of safety net. When I'm really, really stuck, everyone likes to see a picture of me 10 years ago at my very first agent workshop or something crazy like that. First day out of university in a suit off to my job. People love this kind of thing, but don't overdo it. Also, if we were going to look at student experience from the perspective of a different piece of content, so a story. Now you can have stories on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Not everyone has the LinkedIn stories functionality just yet, but they are rolling it out, and hopefully we're all going to have it pretty soon. So stories. This is the place where you can easily reshare content from your posts. So you can, pop that, share that onto your stories. But, often with posts, we have captions that are quite long, and those captions cover more than just one point. So what I like to do is break that down, take that content from that one caption and make 3, maybe even 5, if it's something big and interesting, different story screens. Because stories, you've got a small amount of time and a small space to put your content, and nobody's going to read this much there. Videos, of course, aspects, behind the scenes, teachers prepping, this kind of thing, talking to camera, what can X course help your students to achieve? All these things are very, a great pieces of content, easy to repeat, but still make different. And just really good ways to pad out a social media strategy. And that's it. I was very quick today. So I hope that I've given you some ideas. So I've given you some guidance and some tips on, what to do when you're feeling stuck. Yeah, good luck.
I think that's brilliant, Corinne. I always get a lot of value out of listening to those, particularly that inspiration. Like sometimes you are just stuck.
You are, yeah, absolutely. And that happens to all of us.